try to learn how to like do more, then like what the fuck? Then I'll potentially lose the ability to just open the faucet. You know what I mean? Because then I'll be thinking about what I'm doing and I'll be knowing why I'm doing the thing. I don't know why I do what I do. Like, dude, I can play in almost every key, but I can't tell you what the keys are.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, I can't tell you which notes are sharp and flat in the key of E.
Well, it's just like
I have no idea. But if I had to play an E, no. I'm in C still. There we go. That's the hardest key to fucking play in. I'll pick the worst one. But yeah, whatever. I don't know what any of the sharp and flats are, but I can play in most of them. But it's weird. So anyway, I'm terrible at things like this because I can't actually do it. I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I, you know? And like your ear takes you there eventually, but then you also just get like lost in nothingness. So it's like it's a bizarre process. But you get really good shit at it too.
I think also just like actually like making this and like turning it into something and then seeing what works and what doesn't work and like you being able to like pick up on like what you like. But when I actually start putting this to that.
Well, what we're trying to do is also like something that's rather difficult, right? We're working like from 2 or 3 different angles at the same time, you know what I mean? Like traditionally, this type of music would get played, you score this to the scene, you know? But we're making the scene. You're kind of working as backwards. I'm trying to play something that's scoring the scene that hasn't actually been made.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting
But I'm saying that like once I start playing with this and like putting it to the footage and like we get an idea of what footage is being used, what the structure.
No, I just mean like from a musical standpoint, like if I figured out or we figured out and agreed on like a theme melodically, like this is the, you know?
Yeah.
This is the melody that we want to play off of, then we could play that melody 10 ways. You know what I mean? Like fast, slow, emotionally, angry, happy, like all of that. But otherwise, I'm just shooting in the dark. So you know, whatever happens. I just hope that you find something that is worth something. It's not. It's not. It is.
I mean, if I'm not saying anything, it's mostly just because it's working. I think that it's just like exploring. Like,
I know. I'm gonna keep trying. But I'm also like not that great at piano.
That's definitely shouldn't say that.
Well, no, but it's like, so like say someone like Andrina Mill, who's like has like grade 10 piano training, right? Like I have like grade 2 piano. Okay. Like my piano is not like from a skill set. A couple of things don't last 2 minutes.
Say again?
There's a couple cool pieces that last minute.
Yeah. We just got to make it a process. It's not really going to be like a one-time thing. No. Especially when we start adding on everything that I want to do. There's also if there's that many months to go and the album's already so good, I mean, what do you do at that time?
Make more music. Make better songs.
Are you honest with him about what you think are weaker links on the album? I mean, how do those conversations go?
He makes decisions. I just tell him what I feel about him, you know, and he weighs that consequence and decides how to move forward, I think. But, like, Laugh Now, Cry Later, and it's still yet to be seen what that record is, or what happens to it in his journey, but I told him my read was will be a lot of people's favorite song on the album. It's that good. It reminds me of, like, Player's Anthem with Outkast and shit, and Bun B and Pimp, like that song and that feel-good moment and how incredible it was and how much everyone loved it, and like, so to me it's like a lot of people's favorite song. Like, oh man, that song's so good, I love it. It's what's your favorite song off this new CLB? Oh, that's my favorite song. Sure, but I don't think it has as strong as a chorus. It has a strong hook. The Baby shit is a strong hook.
but I don't think it has as strong of a chorus as, say, like Hold On, We're Going Home, or Controlla, or One Dance, or Hotline Bling, or God's Plan, or like he's got big radio hits that sit at the top of the chart for an extended period of time. I don't necessarily believe Laugh Now, Cry Later is going to sit at the top of the chart for an extended period of time. It might sit there for 5 weeks plus, but I'd be surprised if anything longer. I'd be surprised even at that. I think it might be up there for a few weeks to number one. Are you fucking crazy? You know how long it took us to get a number one in this business? That's no fucking joke. I'm not downplaying having a number one on the goddamn Billboard. I'm just saying that Drake's also sat at the Billboard for 10, 20 weeks, and I don't know at number one, and I don't know if that record's gonna sit at number one. So I have those conversations like, yo, just so you know what I think. Don't think it's gonna sit at the, but I think it's people's favorite song.
Do you
So I
think?
think it's an incredible song to drop. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that's my opinion. But I'm never gonna like. So like I'll go as that far to be critical of a record, you know?
Do you think it gets harder for him to stay at a number one position the later in his career he gets? I mean, do you think he's late in his career? Like, where do you stand on all that stuff? I mean, there was a fever pitch moment that every artist has who gets to that kind of status that lasts however long it lasts. But for him, it's just goes on in a way that we haven't really seen. So do you think that it's going to get harder for him to maintain that number one the later he gets in his career? I mean, even at this point?
I mean, I think the initial reaction would be, yeah, it gets difficult for any artist to continue to maintain that position the later you get in their career, but I can't tell you that's been the case for Drake. I can't, right? Like the later in your career we get, the bigger the songs get, the better he gets. It's pretty phenomenal. So I think it gets easier for him as time goes on.
Are there any artists that you can like liken him to in that way? I don't mean like musically. I just mean as far as like their careers and their success.
No, I don't know if there is, and I also say no because I don't have as accurate a perspective of any other artists. So it's like difficult for me to make a comparison. But you know, someone made a Michael Jackson comparison the other day.
Bun B.
Yeah, Bun B.
Yeah.
Compared to someone else even of stature and significance too. Like a few people have been making that comparison. Snoop or someone like somebody like that too. Not only Bun, someone else did it. But I don't know, man. I don't even know if Michael had as long of a run in the place that Drake's been. Like Michael almost had peaks and valleys to his career, I feel like, where Drake has just gone like this. And we haven't stopped or like plateaued. So I think until there's some sort of like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't tell you what might happen.
Where do you think this stops?
I don't know if it ever stops. I mean, it has to stop at some point.
I mean, whether or not it's because he doesn't land a number one on an album or it doesn't stay number one long enough.
I mean, how old is Jay-Z? Jay-Z's 50 right now? He's 50, right?
And 444 was good.
Okay, so we're going past that.
So you don't think this ever ends?
I think Drake is smart enough and good enough of an artist that he will transition himself as a person, as an artist, fluidly and seamlessly into whatever he's supposed to be next, so that when he's in his 60s and going into his early 70s, he can still be one of the biggest, most relevant musicians in the world because he figured out how to do that. Is he going to take that path? I don't know. It depends what he wants to do with his own life and his own happiness. But I do thoroughly believe that he could be smart enough to navigate that and to make sure that by the time he got there, people weren't like, what the fuck is this guy still doing there? But still like, wow, man, this guy makes great music, and like, fuck it, we love it, keep going. He knows how to do that, and he makes good enough music. And I don't think that you get later in your life and stop learning how to make music, but the question is like, how relevant is it? And Jay-Z can still be relevant at 50. I think we got many, many years to go. A few more careers. So far we've had one. So we've got a couple left. So by that logic, it's been what, 10, 12 years? Mm-hmm. Another 25 years.
He's just gonna be like a Stevie Wonder on stage at somebody else's OVO Fest when he's in his 60s.
How old was Stevie when he did that? I 'cause 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 'c Must have been in his 70s? No. 60s? How old is
It's
Stevie?
gotta be.
No, Stevie's young. Stevie's young.
Can you speak to the state of the album right now? I mean, just like musically, like if not that you have to write a synopsis about what it is, but
He's 70 right now.
Certified Lover Boy, like what is it?
Oh, it's like my favorite Drake album right now. But I mean, like, you know, that's everything. The newest stuff is always my favorite. The newest stuff is always the best. This is the newest stuff. It's the best. It's really good. It's really good. I don't know. I just think it's gonna be an incredible album. I think it'll go down as one of his stronger ones. But we'll see. That's all subjective too. He has a dynamic career, right?
Do you think that's one of his strongest because of how long he's taken to craft it? I mean, does the time put in equate something more than if you were to disappear for 2 weeks with, like, let's say, if you're reading this as like a brilliant piece that was conceived very quickly, but, you know, then you look at Nothing Was the Same, which is a lot of people's favorite album, if not Take Care, and like that was the opposite. So, like, you know, do you see like the differences between them, like music? I mean, I don't mean musically, like clearly they're very different things, but what is all that time? Has all that time lent itself to this being one of his best projects? Is that what it really is? Or is it like what is going on in his life, maybe? Having more to talk about?
I think it's just getting a better read, right? Like every time you go in to take a shot, you get a little better and a little more accurate, and he just gets better and more accurate and better and more accurate, and he's just super accurate right now. So the shots he's taking are fucking hitting.
Do you think him having a kid has any effect on it?
Maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe. That could be an explanation, you know? Maybe just some of the focus and the importance of what he's focusing on. I'm not sure. I don't know. Drake's drive is fucking crazy. Like, his ambition is psychotic. That's why we got to where we got, because of that man's ambition. No other reason. He wanted this shit. He made it happen. I mean, his talent, obviously, he's good enough to do it. But his ambition is crazy. So I don't know if his, like, I'm sitting here, it's like, man, how do you even get more ambitious than he was, you know? So, like, did his son change him in that regard for the better? I mean, I'm sure it did. But musically, I don't know. He's always been at the top of his game. He's still going. Mm-hmm. Addie probably had a little help there, but, you know, I don't know.
Do you want to play us out? What does a trailer sound like?
Fuck, Theo, I don't know, man. Fucking trailers. I don't know. We've been recording. You got some pieces in there we can find. Or I need compressed air. A can of compressed air beside this piano at all times. I used to be like, shh, 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 shh.
Just to dust it off. Oh, look at these keys.
Oh, that hurt so bad. Oh.
You good?
Woo. Oh, it hurt. Yeah, I'm good. Oh, but.
Do you want to just keep playing for like 2 seconds, just while I get something right?
set this fucking bench yet. That's how new this piano is.
How do you think his sounds like changed over the years?
Got more aggressive.
Does that mesh at all with your sound, do you think? I mean, like, do you find middle grounds?
Do I find what?
A middle ground, I guess. I don't think of you as like making aggressive music, really.
Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I think I sort of, you know, do and help where I can help, and maybe sort of add that emotional side to some of those aggressive moments. But there's still room for everything, you know. Drake's a multifaceted artist. He does a lot of different types of things, a lot of different types of music. So I don't think there's room for the growth, you know. Mm-hmm. But like in the beginning, we weren't really doing pop like that, right? We were doing rap and R&B, and a certain type of R&B. And now we do a bunch of types of rap, a bunch of types of R&B, and a bunch of types of pop. So it's like it's just more addition to his sort of palette and what he does musically, I think. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that negates like the space for me or what I do or bring to the table for him, or, you know, like at all. And I think like the kind of music that we make together is pretty special and unique. So it's like, I think there'll always be a space for that. You know? Yeah, playing the piano is really frustrating, let me tell you that much. Really frustrating. I don't know if I am distracted by these colored keys yet, or if I'm assisted by them. I can't figure it out.
What do you think about like I mean, we just kind of covered like talking about like music and work. But what about, I guess on a personal relationship with him? Do you feel like the relationship has changed? I mean, if you're around less clearly, I mean, it has to be affected somewhat. But I mean, it's been a long road. You guys have been working together for how long?
Excuse me. Yeah, we've been working together for, I guess, 13 years. Yeah, I mean, it changes over the years. I think everyone's personal relationships do. But like the great thing about our relationship is the foundation is so strong that I don't think either of us ever flinch. So I mean, like even if I don't talk to him for a few weeks, like we don't flinch, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and like we're both really confident in that. So like that's the cool part. He understands like, you know, what I have to deal with my own health and all the shit in my life. So he's very understanding of that circumstance. And, you know, he's in good hands. Noel's a killer and everything's still moving forward, like in a workspace. But yeah, again, sorry, I went back to work. But you know, in a personal space, like everything's solid there. So we've never had to worry about that, I don't think. And we make music and keep moving and.
But don't you think that Drake's personal relationships are tightly intertwined
with his working relationships? Of course, which is why I have a hard time talking about one and not the other.
I mean, everybody around him are, to say friends is an understatement. I mean, mm-hmm. it really is family in a way that I think other people can think they relate to, but to really be in this, I think, is something else. And I mean, everybody around him has a role that they play. So they are under his employ. But at the same time, I mean, these are his best friends. And so like, I you know, I don't know what the question is. I think it's more just like thinking about like.
Well, me and Drake have a little bit of a unique relationship, I would say, in his like whole system that way because we create together, you know. I make music, he makes music, you know. So a lot of the employment part only really exists for when I'm on the road with him and I'm following him and as his engineer and tracking him and so on and so forth, right? But like, I'm at home, I'm just making music and he likes it, he doesn't like it, whatever. You know, we go on, we mix and keep it moving. But I guess I don't know. Everyone else. Trying to say this the right way. I guess I work with him as well as for him. You know, I always that's irrelevant for me, but I think it's important in the context of our relationship and our friendship. You know, that we work together. And it's sort of always been that way, you know? That's always the way that our relationship's been, opposed to like working for him. So I think that's important for him to have friends like that and have people in his life like that that aren't subject to his employ at all moments of the day. I'm there because I want to be there. I'm there because I love the guy, you know? Not because if I'm not there, like I won't survive or because he employs me, you know? It's not to suggest that anybody else isn't, but I just, as I said, for me to be in that situation makes our relationship, I guess, a little unique. And I think that's important. And that's why I take the responsibility along with that, right? Which is like, you know, make sure if I feel like there's something I should question for him musically or whatever the case is, like I do so, right? Because I'm in a position to at all times. So I think that's probably a positive thing that's helped our relationship be so strong over the years too, you know? Is like we work together because we want to work together. Like that's why we work together. So I think
how does it feel seeing him with the kid?
With what?
With his kid, with a kid, a child.
It's beautiful, incredible. Like I'm so happy for him, you know. It makes me be like, shit, I gotta hurry up and have some fucking kids. No, he's it's amazing. It's beautiful. Yeah. It makes me super happy.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about like this album as it stands, or where it's headed, or what's left to do? I mean, it seems like this is like the album just got pushed back again. Do you have like thoughts on it, just as far as like what you?
When's he gonna see this footage?
Never, if you don't want him to. I mean, like this could be for 10 years from now, but
yeah, no, I'm trying to push it back again. This is the first pushback. I want another pushback.
He's talking about having pushed it back to October.
No, we already pushed past October.
This October? When is it coming out now?
Oh, we're in November now.
November, I did hear that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going January.
Okay.
Look, I set my mind. This release date was January a long time ago.
But isn't it?
This release date was January for me back in July.
But I heard.
And Noel's like, yeah, first week of September, and I'm like, ha 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 ha. But then I was like, yeah, January.
Okay, so if he.
Okay, so now we got to like mid-September. Then it was like, okay, then October was a talk, obviously, at some point. Yeah. Now the talk is November after the election. I'm still like, January.
Depending on who wins. It could be
I think
different climate for an album called Certified Lover Boy that you might not want to like enter. But
what I think, and again, like, let's hope this doesn't make this into the documentary because I don't really want to get too political.
Don't worry, nothing happens without you.
I think it's better almost for music if Trump wins, because then like life sort of just goes on as we know it right now, as terrible as that is. But if Biden wins, then Trump has 6 weeks to get out of the White House. If Trump like drags his feet getting out of the White House, that's 6 weeks of him pardoning all his boys, packing up his shit and leaving fucking Washington. That's gonna be the craziest shit we've ever seen. And it might go south.
Who knows what he's leaving.
Okay, so to drop an album within that 6 weeks, to me, is crazy. Like, yo, the attention on all that shit is so grave, and it's of grave importance, and it's gonna be a pretty serious time in American history, and I wouldn't really want to get in the way of that.
Do you think
so my advice, if Biden wins, is we're gonna wait another 6 weeks, at least. And then it's Christmas, so it's like, yo, January. I think we drop this album in January. And I think that's probably the reality that we'll come to, but of course, it's really good. And Drake really wants to get it out. Because it's really good. So I understand that part of it too.
Let me just change a mag real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe one more mag and you're done?
Yeah.
Or do you want to hit out right now?
One more mag and we're good.
All right. These things last 11 minutes. So.
Yo, playing with 2 fingers is so funny. But yeah, I try not to think about any of that shit too much. Just go make music. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. I don't want to care though. Drake cares. That's his job.
Drake cares about
Music. I'm not saying I don't care about the music. I mean like the process. He's like, he knows how to get to where he wants to go musically. I'm not steering. He's steering.
how is he to work
I'm just hitting the fucking gas, you know what I'm saying?
as like a collaborator? I mean, how is he to work with compared to? You've worked with a few artists before, so I mean, like, do you find like his way of thinking and getting to where he wants to go far different than other people, or is he just that much better at it, given how successful he's become?
Both. I think he's that much better at it, but I also think his approach is different, right? Like one of my favorite things he said to me, I'll never forget, we were at Hot Beats, probably working on So Far Gone in Atlanta at Hot Beats. And he was doing something, making a beat or programming something. And he was like, man, how do you do that? You know, like, how do you keep such good tempo like that? And I'm like, oh, I just fucking keep tempo like that. You fucking tap the drums and the hat, like whatever. You just keep tempo, you know? And he was having like, with the song, he was having such a hard time, like, ticking along with the song and couldn't do it. And I'm sitting there like, yo, how the fuck can you not keep time with this, bro? You have the craziest timing. You sit in the craziest pockets of like any other rapper besides Biggie Smalls ever. Like, how do you not? I don't get it. And he was like, because I'm not listening to the beat. I was like, huh? He's like, I'm listening to the spaces in between, or not, I'm listening to the drums, I'm listening to the spaces in between the drums. Busendorfer.